Have you ever watched a show that was so good, like you couldn't keep it to yourself, as if it was like this best kept secret that you had to get off your chest? For me, that was definitely MobLand.
And you look after the Harrigans, they will look after you. You do not look after the Harrigans. Heaven help you.
Hi there, welcome back to Watch by Ashley. Today we're taking a deeper dive into Paramount Plus's MobLand. This is Guy Ritchie's latest project, and it was released in March of 2025. So yes, I know I'm a bit late to the party in terms of reviewing it, but you know, better late than never. Guy Ritchie's been kind of all over the map lately, kind of inconsistent, to be honest, in the last decade. I think he's been trying to adjust to modern audiences and the tastes of the time, and it doesn't jive well with his style. Like, he is known for having very witty scripts and just showing like the true essence and grittiness and griminess of London when it comes to his like mob stories. And I just found the last little while it hadn't been hitting the way it was meant to. Like Operation Fortune Rusticare is a huge example of that. Like, it was written by Guy Ritchie in part, but it didn't feel like anything, like it didn't feel like Guy Ritchie at all. The Gentleman TV series for Netflix also didn't really feel authentic. And so, interestingly enough, with MobLand, Guy Ritchie only directed 2 episodes and he didn't serve as the writer. But this just felt very Guy Ritchie to me, which I don't know if that means that what I think is Guy Ritchie isn't Guy Ritchie, but at the same time, this just felt very reminiscent of his early projects like Snatch. And so this was a pleasure to watch. You know, from beginning to end, it grabbed me by the collar and didn't let me go. I found myself thoroughly enjoying the experience. Like, the episodes are very well structured here. Very strong performances to add to the story here, and it really makes everything so much more believable. I would say that's one of the aspects that really makes MobLand shine over The Gentleman, is the fact that the story feels so much more rooted and realistic, versus The Gentleman was just very convenient plot lines, in my opinion, and this felt like a believable story that could have actually happened in London. Not that I know a lot about the London crime scene, but this just felt more realistic to me. Writing credits go to Ronan Bennett, who is known for his work on Top Boy. And so the story here, while it is simple, it definitely intrigues you from the beginning. I don't want to go too deep into the plot, because if you do want to watch it, I want to keep it as spoiler free as I can for this review. But high level here, we're following Harry D'Souza, who is a fixer played by Tom Hardy, and he works for the Harrigan family, and his main goal is to keep the family out of harm while maintaining balance in his own personal life with his wife and daughter.
I just think, like a man and a woman, they have their arguments and their issues, yeah, their problems, and it's their problems, right? You don't go off and talk to other people about it.
All right, our problems are our problems.
For the duration of MobLand, as we're watching it, Harry's nemesis, aside from the family members making terrible decisions, is the rival gang family, the Stevensons. So it's just very, on the surface, it has a very simple, straightforward story, but there's just so many layers and elements that are thrown in here, and it's woven perfectly. It's, like I said, very entertaining from beginning to end. Speaking of characters and performances here, as I mentioned, Tom Hardy is playing Harry D'Souza. Tom Hardy gives a very, very solid performance here, and you know, the second you meet Harry, you get attached to him, and you find him to be very relatable, and you're always like on edge trying to see how he's going to handle the situation, because he just ends up in these binds that, you know, a weaker person would definitely tap out at the first opportunity, and he's just always cool as a cucumber. So I really love that performance. And then you have Pierce Brosnan, my favorite Bond, who plays Conrad Harrigan, and he is fantastic in this role. Like, it is an effortless performance by Pierce, and it was just such a pleasure to watch. I feel like in some scenes he is a scene stealer from Tom Hardy, because he just is like, it's just velvety smooth with him in this series. Like, I do feel like he's getting a second wind. Like, lately he's been pretty active, and this was a really, really great performance, because like I said, it was just effortless.
You take some of your people with you. And if Richie wants to get unruly, if he wants to fuck about in any way, and you get a chance, you take him.
And then Helen Mirren plays his wife, Maeve Harrigan. They have really good chemistry, and they feed off of each other very well. And it's believable that they're this couple that's been running this crime syndicate for many years and they're just trying to stay on top of their game. Character development in this series is extremely strong. You will get attached to the characters. Everyone has a little bit of something going on in the background. The cinematography is fantastic as well. Even though Guy Ritchie only directed 2 episodes, it doesn't feel like an inconsistent framing of the show. Like, you don't feel like you have the styles and nuances of different directors in the show. It just feels very consistent, which I really did enjoy. The other factor that makes it feel like a Guy Ritchie project when it comes to London is that it captures both the grimy and seediness of the London underbelly while showing the prestige and charm and high-end factor that these mobsters have with their lives of luxury. And just so that dichotomy, those opposites, they're just captured so perfectly in the show. And it's just something that I love. My only gripe about the show, to be honest with you, actually I only have 2 gripes, but the first gripe that I have about the show is just that I feel like the women, the way they were written into this story, they are just terrible creatures. And that's the only way to describe them. Like, all the women that Harry has in his life, they're either incompetent or toxic. And it could have been written that way just to show the opposite of Harry, because Harry is a very cool, level-handed guy. But the women are just nuts on the show. And so, again, it could have been intentional, but it did feel over the top, because when I was watching some of these characters, I'm like, there's no way they could be that daft or they could be so inconsiderate. But they're all horrible. Even his daughter's horrible. So, like, every woman on screen, you're just like, oh my gosh, like, this person could not exist in real life. The other thing that I wish, like, this is on my wish list, it isn't really anything against the show, is that Guy Ritchie does a very good job of putting in cultural stereotypes in his projects. And it comes from a good place. Like, going back to Snatch, one thing I really, really loved about that movie was just how self-aware it was, and the fact that he had, like, the black robbers and how they were just silly.
Oi. What? I thought you said he was a getaway driver. What the fuck can he get away from, eh?
And then you had the sneaky Russian aspect.
A Russian?
Well, to be technical, he's an Uzbekistanian, but...
Uzbekistanian? I've been dealing with those sneaky Russian dogs.
And, like, these are just stereotypes that are, you know, are coming from a good place, but they made up London, and it really embodied the London culture. And here I just feel like they kind of stepped away from that. Like, everyone was kind of a little bit generic. Like, yes, you had the Irish vibes and with the Harringtons and the Stevensons, but I just didn't feel like it had that that mixing pot of London. It was kind of lacking here. And so I did miss that. But I will say that they do capture other aspects of London very well. One of the things I have to say about the show is just the way it's paced. It always leaves you wanting more. Like, I am very happy that it's already been renewed for a 2nd season, and I can't wait to watch, because I was just so thoroughly entertained with this series. Like I said, the performances were so strong, cinematography is strong, and the soundtrack is fantastic. Like, that's another aspect that really makes it feel like a Guy Ritchie project, is Guy Ritchie is a lover of music. And you can see that with his films, is that he always puts in, like, a smashing soundtrack. And that is the same case here. Great picks for the songs. Like, and he even goes into, like, some classic stuff here. Again, I don't want to ruin it, because, like, it's just such a pleasant surprise when you hear some of the music in this show. So, again, just a really awesome experience watching this. It was really refreshing, actually, because it didn't have anything that was, like, too strange, like, too... kinky, or, like, you know, like a weird taste to it. Like, it was just a nice mob story, and I can't wait for season 2, to be honest with you. So those are my thoughts in regards to MobLand. In terms of rating, it gets an 8.5 out of 10 for me. Again, only gripe is just the way the women were really annoying. And I just want some stereotypes in there. But yeah, just a great television series from beginning to end. Highly recommend. Please let me know in the comments below if you've seen the series. If you have, tell me if I'm wrong about the portrayal of the women, or how you feel about Guy Ritchie's transition into television. If you compare it to The Gentleman, which do you think is stronger? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, but that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the content here, please consider giving me a like and subscribe, as it certainly helps me in growing the channel, and I really do appreciate it. I'll see you next time, and take care. Bye.
This story's getting really boring. Right now, I am in 1st gear. Would you like to see me shift to 6?